most of you, I realize that there are quite a number of us who have had some brushes with Ghana before. You have either worked in Ghana, some as far back as the time I wasn't born. There are people here like that. and it was amazing who have been in Ghana and have done quite a number of things, and a few things have come up to my mind. So I'm not going to be strictly talking from the point of view of education, but we'll try to bring up a few suggestions that we can pick up as people who are interested in ensuring that education or people are developed through education. So a little bit about Nick, or about myself. Funnily, I was born not in Ghana, I was born in the UK, but I never really stayed there. I think my parents were in a hurry to go back home. So after I was born, a few weeks, I went to Ghana, and I've been in Ghana since, though I've traveled into several parts of the world before. And I schooled in the University of Ghana and did my master's in demography, worked with the National Population Council. The current ambassador to Canada, His Excellency Dr. Richard Texin, was my boss at the National Population Council. So I have quite some connections here. And you can't joke around with me here. Yeah. And in my work in population, one of the things we're trying to do, which we're trained, was to try and integrate the various development aspects together into one program to tackle the issues of development. So we're looking at health, we're looking at education, water, sanitation, and seeing how we can make sure that they align together in terms of policy. It was through some of these exercises that I was assigned to one professor to help him to do some analysis of data in education. And that's how my interest in education was whipped up. And then I saw an advertisement for the position of a national coordinator in GNECC, and I applied. So I've been with the coalition for about 1 year, 4 months now. I joined in 2008, and it's been quite exciting. I've learned a lot. Now, the Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition is actually a network. It is not an NGO per se, but it's a network of NGOs who have some interest in education. Some of them have health biases, others have sanitation biases, HIV/AIDS biases, but they all do something in education. And of course, there are members who are also purely education biased, and it includes professional bodies like the Ghana National Association of Teachers, faith-based organizations like the Christian Council of Ghana. They are members of the coalition. We have some research and academic institutions who are also members. And the principle is that education is a fundamental human right, and every Ghanaian child must have access to enjoyable, and I'm underlining enjoyable because I saw a lot of beautiful schools in Canada as I drove by, and it would be nice to learn in conditions like that. So enjoyable, quality basic education for every Ghanaian child, and that is our commitment, and that is why we exist and what we push for. But we have a very strong network that is spread across the country. We are in the regions where we have regional chapters which are facilitated by regional coordinators. And then we, at the district level, Ghana has been organized just like you have your provinces. In Ghana, our provinces is what we call the regions. And then the local authorities is what we call the districts. So at the district level, we have small groups of teams called the District Education for All Teams, or DFATs for short, who advocate for education issues at the district level. And so the things we do is we try or we engage government on various policy issues related to education. And I don't want to speak purely education because of the background of the poll we have, but we look at what policies government want to put in place, and we try to make the concerns of citizens, put it across in a coordinated manner to government. So if parents think that this policy is not the best, we look into it and we factor it in our positions that we give to government. And government does recognize the coalition. The Ministry of Education recognizes the coalition and has created space on the Ministerial Advisory Board to the Minister of Education, and the coalition sits on that board and engages government on that board. Then with the development partners, they have what they call the education sector group meetings. It is the various stakeholders and development partners in education who meet once every month to look at education issues in Ghana, and GNECC represents civil society on that board. So I'm not boasting, but if you go to the government as civil society and you don't come through the door of GNECC, they will not listen to you. So that's how strong the coalition is. Because it is broad-based, it represents a wide constituency, so government is comfortable working with the coalition. Judith has mentioned some of the things we do, but basically we do advocacy at various levels. And in doing the advocacy, we try to carry out researches on various issues. One of the researches we did last year was to look at the disparities in education provision between rural and urban areas. And as you might guess, there are wide disparities between those in the rural areas and the urban areas. But the interesting thing is that whereas you have about 90% of teachers in urban areas, trained teachers in urban areas, in a district, for those of you who know Ghana, in a district like Sawyerr district in the Brong-Ahafo region, less than 10% of the teachers are trained teachers. And all the children there will have to go through the system, get to the junior secondary school, and write a standardized basic education examination with other children who are in very endowed schools. And we think this is not fair, and it's a disadvantage to a certain group of Ghanaians. And so some of these things should be looked at.